Hi guys, Steph here. Now, I recently went out sort of pen hunting again, as I do. I came across a few pens that I've actually got together. Obviously I've got to get pens to show you people out there. You know, they don't come along free, unfortunately. But what I've done, I've got a few pens. Some I've actually shown you that I'll restore and I'll be selling. There's one or two that, well, the 61 that I showed you the other day, that's one of them. Another one is this particular one, which is very interesting. I've not actually had one of these before. It is what it is. Well, it does what it does on the tin there. It says Sheaffer. So what we've got is a lovely Sheaffer fountain pen. Do you know which one it is? Can you tell what model it is? Ah, I bet you're quite intrigued, aren't you? Well, if you're intrigued, then, well, you most probably guessed it. Let's put the case to one side. Incidentally, I don't believe this is the original case for this particular pen, but it came with it, so it's obviously helped to protect it, and it's somewhere for the pen to be stored. But what we've got, as I say, we've got a Sheaffer Intrigue fountain pen. Lovely pen, a little bit modern for me, but I've never come across one and I'm quite impressed with it. It's a lovely weighty pen, nice chunky pen as well. And obviously, just by feeling it and looking at it, it's obviously a well-made pen that, well, as you would expect from Sheaffer. The Sheaffer Intrigue, this particular model, is the most sought after. It's the model 611, and they term this one the matte gold and black. I believe they made lots of others, one in chrome, they did one in blue, they did one with a chrome with some sort of a pattern on the barrel, but as I say, this one is the matte gold and black. This sort of overlay sort of pattern here is a 22 carat satin gold plated. The barrels are matte black. The trim, I believe, is 22 carat gold plated trim. All in all, an absolutely gorgeous pen and a very interesting pen. You can see it sort of tapers to the end of the barrel, and that also applies to the end of the cap there. There's a slight taper to it. The size of this pen from the top of the cap to the bottom of the barrel, a nice chunk, well, a nice hefty 137 millimeters capped. Because of the taper, I've measured it at the fattest section. That's approximately 13.5 millimeters in diameter. So there, as you can see, and as you can tell by the dimensions, a lovely, nice, substantial fountain pen. Now, this particular pen, or the Intrigue range, I believe came out around the year 2000 through to about 2004. Obviously, this particular range is now discontinued. But yeah, a very interesting pen. Let's take you up to the cap there. You can see it's got a quite unusual clip there. It's got a slight sort of indentation there, which makes it very comfortable when you're actually putting it in your shirt or your jacket pocket. Obviously, with it being a Sheaffer, we've got the white dot to the top of the clip there, and as you can see, to the top it just sort of tapers off to a lovely rounded top there. If I show you a little bit of a close-up, just to the top there, you can see just below the cap it reads Sheaffer. Let's keep it nice and still, and if I turn it over, there you go, it reads USA. So it's obviously a Sheaffer made in the USA. Hopefully you'll notice there, you can see the cap has got this slight lean to it. It's slightly at an angle. Very interesting pen, if I may say so. Like I say, I came across this. I bought it, well, for a nice price, I feel, but a very nice looking pen. If it wasn't so modern, I would have even maybe considered keeping it. But again, well, let's see how it goes. So let's take the cap off like so. Let's show you the pen at different angles. Absolutely lovely. It's a lovely looking pen. And again, as I'll show you in a moment, a very interesting filling system. Now, as you can see, it's got this sort of metal satin, well, as I said earlier, this satin gold, if you like an overlay to it with this lovely design, and obviously the way it's finished off complements the cap there when you actually put the cap back on. You can see to the section there, it's got this rubber, sort of rubber band or rubber washer between the section and the barrel to help with the the cap being put on the pen. If we take it to the very top there, well, very recognisable for Sheaffer. It actually has this gorgeous inlaid Sheaffer nib. Let's keep it nice and still, and you can see it's got a slightly different pattern to the very top there. It's got this slightly circled pattern to the very top, and the imprint reads 14 carat 585 Sheaffer. So all in all, again, one of my favourite nibs. Not necessarily my favourite manufacturer, but beautiful nibs. I love these inlaid nibs. There you go, there's a sideways view. Very reminiscent to a lot of the other pens that Sheaffer make. And if we take you to the back there, you can see this, the feed to the back there. Again, slightly different in design than their sort of usual pens. And again, very nice pen, a lovely weighty pen, nicely balanced I feel, but again a lovely size. Again, like one of my colleagues who does reviews mentions, I've also got quite big hands, so I do actually prefer bigger pens, and well, absolutely lovely. Now, the pen is called the Sheaffer Intrigue. How do you fill it? Well, maybe that's why they called it the Intrigue, because it's got a very intriguing filling system. Now the filling system, if you look to the end of the pen there, you can see just to the back there a sort of blind cap or filler button, and then behind that you can see another little blind cap just behind it. Okay, there's nothing on the end of the barrel, so if you look at the end of the pen there, you can see two knobs, this one here, and then there's one just behind it there. Now the very interesting thing about this pen is that, well, it actually takes a piston converter and it will also accept cartridges. Now, how does it fill? Well, what we do, we simply unscrew the larger of the knobs at the top there, unscrew it as far as it will go. There we go. And then if you pull it out, look at that. You can see there's actually like a little drawer, if you like, and sitting inside that drawer is a converter. Okay, so again, whether they called it the Intrigue because it's got this very intriguing sort of filling system, I don't know, but very interesting in my eyes, and I think it's quite a good filling system the way it's designed. So what it's got, as I say, it's got this converter sat in this little drawer here, and as you can see, the converter there is nice and clean. As far as I'm aware, this pen has never been inked. Incidentally, you can take that converter off. The only thing wrong with it, it's slightly fiddly when you try taking it off. You have to turn it around. I won't do it, but it's just a little bit fiddly. But yeah, that will just simply lift out. You can place a Sheaffer cartridge in there. Once you push it back and screw it, it'll actually pierce the cartridge inside there. But we're not going to do that. We're going to leave the cartridge. Now, if you look there, you can see the piston is sat, well, it'll be sat right at the end of the filler there. So what happens in theory is we push that back in, we screw that all the way home. Let's assume we've just put the converter in. Okay. Now what you do now is you simply dip the nib in the ink, and then at this point you simply pull out, says he, there you go, you pull out the very end knob like so, and then if I turn that, I keep turning it until I feel some resistance. There we go. Now if I unscrew the front one again and pull it out for you, there you go. You can see, well, hopefully you can see the piston now has gone to the very top of the converter there. Okay, so I'm hoping that's nice and clear for you. Right, so if we pop that, says here, all the way home, screw the bigger of the twos all the way back, and at this point what you do to fill the pen, because the piston now is very well, as far as it'll go to the top, it's expelled all the air out. As I said, what you do is you dip the ink, sorry, you nib in the ink, and at this point what you do, again, you pull out this particular little knob at the end, and what you do now is turn it clockwise again until you feel it stop, like so. You just simply click it back home like so, and the pen now will be full of ink ready for you to write. If we unscrew it again for you for the last time and pull it out, you can now see that the piston, well, you can't see the piston now because it's retracted all the way back home again. So that is how this pen works. Well, how it works with a piston filler. As I said, you can lift this out and use a cartridge if you wish, but a lot of people obviously they prefer to use the ink. Now unfortunately, because the pen, as you can see, has never been inked, it's in like new condition in my opinion, I am not going to fill the pen, because once again, if I try and find a new home for it, some people prefer to exhibit the pen or just put it on display. Some people will use it. If they want to use it, that's fine, that's up to them. But what I'll do, second best, because obviously it's easy enough just to flush, I'll bring on some paper and we'll just see how it writes. All I'm going to do at this point is actually dip the nib in the ink. We'll just see how it writes. So okay, so what we have is, it's the Sheaffer, and as we said, as we all thought earlier, we're all very intrigued. So it's the Sheaffer Intrigue. It's writing, as you can see, with a fine line. Okay, dip it again. Okay, so it's writing with a fine line. It's actually a lovely, lovely writer. As we said earlier, the date of the pen was launched around about 2000, and I believe it went through to 2004. It's obviously now sort of discontinued, so you can't buy the pen now from Sheaffer. And there we go. So we're running out of ink, so we'll leave it at that. So there we have it. A lovely writer, writing with a fine line. There's no variation in the line as you would expect with these inlaid nibs, but a lovely, lovely writer, nice and smooth. So there we go. So there's your writing sample. Let's pop that to one side, pop the ink to one side so we don't spill it, and let's pop the cap back. And again, because of this lovely design, the cap basically sits home, if you like, the clip level with the nib, like so. So all in all, a very interesting pen, lovely pen, and again this particular one being the most sought after within the Intrigue range, the matte gold and black. Absolutely beautiful pen, if I may say so myself. Like I say, it's just a shame it's a bit on the modern side for me, but I don't know, maybe we'll find a new home for it. So there we have it, the Sheaffer Intrigue fountain pen, which has a very intriguing filling system, but very interesting, and personally I think a cracking filling system. So I hope you've enjoyed looking at the pen. Don't forget, leave a comment, but for now I'm just going to say bye bye now.